Well, honored to have on Clan Corner, in the corner, Todd McLellan here. And certainly, Todd, we met last Saturday. Our paths have crossed at a World Championship when you were obviously very successful with the gold medal with Canada in 2015, I believe, and an arduous journey of NHL, EIHL, but you find yourself in Scotland and probably one of your funnest things, watching your son play hockey, Tyson.
Yeah, an unreal opportunity for my wife and I and friends of ours from Canada to come over and see Tyson and visit Sienna at the same time. But it's not often, or it hasn't been often in my career, that I've been able to capitalize on this time of year and also to spend it over in Europe in the great city of Glasgow and touring around. It's been an unreal vacation, and hopefully we'll top it off here tonight with another victory.
Well, you've been a good luck charm thus far because a big win against Belfast. You went to Belfast, great building. I think you enjoyed that. A couple of shorthanded goals to get us a point there. Has there been a highlight so far?
You know, I think there's two parts to our trip. There's the people and the location, the locale, if you will, and then there's the hockey. And probably start with the people and the locale. Glasgow people, obviously the Purple Army, but the people outside the arena as well, friendly, welcoming. The city's been spectacular. The touring around we've been able to do has been excellent, second to none. And then there's the hockey part, which I've truly enjoyed. I've been able to watch a practice, spend time with the coaching staff, talking hockey a little bit, and certainly meeting some of the players, hearing their stories, where they're from and how they got here. And then the games themselves. They played two really good games against Belfast. You can see that the team is rapidly coming together. They're beginning to figure each other out, understand the systems that Corey has in place, and they seem to be truly playing for each other, which is a real good quality of a team. So it's nice to see that evolving while we're here, and we've been able to watch every minute of every game this season with you obviously doing the broadcast, and we appreciate that as well.
Look, you talk about it when you were drafted by the New York Islanders, you played in the NHL yourself. Would you have kind of said, oh, what a journey, I want to work in hockey, I want to be a part of hockey? You win a Calder Cup with the Houston Aeros, you've won a Stanley Cup with the Red Wings, an IIHF gold medal. I mean, over 16 years as an NHL coach. What a wonderful journey, and it gets you to Scotland. Do you sometimes wake up, because I know I sometimes do, and go, oh, I'm in Scotland for hockey, and you think about your career has been far more sort of NHL-centric than mine, but like, do you ever wake up and go, this is incredible, I'm watching my son play in Glasgow after all the success you've had? Yeah,
with all of those, you know, all of that timeline that you just took us through, it's been quite a journey for myself, my family, and Tyson obviously included in that. And, part of this trip that we're on, my last stop of playing was in the Netherlands, in Utrecht. And back then hockey wasn't real popular there, but it was probably my most favorite year of actual putting the skates on and chasing the little black thing around the ice. We won a championship and real fond memories. I was able to see or visit that city on this trip again and visit 7 of my old teammates. So it was spectacular. So now coming to Glasgow and thinking about the opportunity that's ahead for Tyson or Liam or any of the other players here with the Clan is quite remarkable. I don't think they truly understand what's in front of them maybe 10 or 20 or 30 years from now. They're just living the moment. They're trying to win games, but the fact that European hockey brings a lot of people together from all over the world, especially here in Glasgow where it's still growing, perhaps they can all have that reunion 20, 30 years from now as well.
It is magical, and you think about it, you played in the Netherlands, I mean, and going back to coaching the WHL and coaching the World Juniors, being a part of the World Junior setup. It's been a wonderful journey, but I get the sense from you, probably your proudest moment is being able to sit, and because your schedule has changed a little bit now, you get to come over here and actually take in games with Tyson. You mentioned Liam Finley there. I'm sure you went to several Denver games. It's just lovely that those two guys have now met, their paths have crossed again in professional hockey from their NCAA days.
Absolutely, they they go back a long way, even before Denver. The relationship in British Columbia, Tyson summers in our summer town of Kelowna, and that's where Liam's from. So they met each other there. Their days in Denver continued on, even pro hockey in Germany, and now they're here in Scotland again. It's pretty special when that can happen with one of your best buddies. You know, and with that being said, though, they also have some responsibilities that they have to live up to. It's great to have played together in the past, but the two of them have made a commitment to the team, and they have to find a way to produce. And I think they've had some really good nights. They've had other nights, just like many other players, where they're trying to find their way through a new schedule, a new league, a new brand of hockey. But like the team, I think they're both settling in, and they're going to be factors from here on forward.
Oh, and fan favorites. I think the fans get pretty excited whenever Tyson passes across for a big Finley one-timer. It's pretty incredible, and I think you mentioned this to me on Saturday. Go see old teammates in the Netherlands. I mean, that's a highlight of the trip too, clearly. I mean, there must have been some great stories that night.
There were a lot of real good stories. Winning the championship, how we did it. We were probably a lot like this Clan team, where we weren't the best team in the league, probably from a talent perspective, but we grew as the year went on. We valued certain things that are necessary to win championships. We all bought into it, and we played for each other, and we were playing our best hockey at the end of the season. We ended up winning a championship, and that bond is forever strong. So let's hope that this Clan team can continue to move the train forward, if you will. There's going to be some rough patches throughout the year. We all know that. It's never smooth, but those rough patches allow you a reference point when it comes time to really play. And I see real good things happening for this group and this city and this team.
You look at your NHL career as well. I mean, the Stanley Cup in Detroit, San Jose. I think Matt Pelech was here. I think Matt Pelech was happy to catch up with you. He played for you in San Jose. And then you look at Edmonton and LA. Do you look back at any particular player or any sort of moment as because obviously you've coached some very good players. Is there a couple of guys that you still marvel at being able to work with?
Well, I've been very blessed. For the teams that I've been on, whether it was as an assistant coach in Detroit or those other three teams you talked about as a head coach, to have tons of relationships with all different types of players. You can talk about the superstars and Joe Thornton and Pavel Datsyuk and obviously Connor McDavid, Ansi Kopitar. I'm just picking one from each team, but those I really treasure. But there's many others that I can run names off, like Pelech. Ryland Schwartz was in San Jose's organization when I was a coach there. Corey Nielsen came to training camp in Houston when I was with the Arrows. Unfortunately, I cut him, which
have you had a chance to talk about that?
No, he's a big man. I'm going to stay away from him. But you meet so many good people, and they all have their own story. They all play a part in everybody's evolution as a human being and as a hockey person. And there's stories that are funny. There's stories that are very emotional, touching. Johnny Hockey, for example, him and his brother, they were honored last night in Columbus. Had a chance to coach him at the World Cup of Hockey in 2016 on Team North America. It was an unreal individual, and even that type of scenario where short-term, short event, those type of people touch you in a certain way, and they leave memories in your memory bank, and you just hope you can give that back to them as well.
Oh, incredible. And yes, a wonderful tribute by the Columbus Blue Jackets last night. And the Florida Panthers, a nice touch, the 13 seconds,
Absolutely.
And then the left wing was left open. And just a horrible bit of news there. But it shows how the hockey world comes together, doesn't it? I mean, we've had some challenges over the last few years in this league. But the hockey, whether it's the Purple Army or the fans around the Elite League, that's something that's really interesting is we all come together in those times. And you mentioned the Purple Army, and whether it's Belfast or the games here, were you surprised by the level of knowledge among the fan base and the passion, or was it kind of what you expected?
Well, I wouldn't say surprised, because as I said earlier, I've been fortunate enough to be able to watch basically every game that Glasgow's played this year. To be able to see the arena here at Braehead packed most nights, you don't get a true sense when you're watching it on the internet, the type of emotion in the stands or the noise or the cheering, but you get a sense of how many people are in the building, and it was just confirmed by coming here. Here and certainly in Belfast, they supported their team very well. So it's great to see, and as you said, the hockey world is a very tight community. If we continue to take care of it at the grassroots level, I just walked into the arena, I saw many young kids skating. They're probably the next part of either the Clan or hopefully the Great Britain national team. But continue to take care of the grassroots here in Glasgow. This game's going to continue to grow, and Someday they're going to have to build a bigger arena because there's going to be more people involved.
Well, fingers crossed. And shout out to Kevin McCoskey. The Clan Academy is started up, and that will certainly bear fruit in maybe a decade or whatever. Maybe there is a Braehead individual who stars here. You look at the NHL and all that, and you talk about your time playing in the Netherlands and coaching and the World Cup of Hockey. It's, as a young guy, those are all dream stuff. And you talk about the McDavids and all those sort of wonderful players. Do you think, like, oh my goodness, you're here in Scotland, is there room for growth in this game too? Because we talked about it, I think, off camera on Saturday. I asked you what you thought about the level of hockey, and you said you knew the hockey was good here. And I think the Elite League is better than people think it is. So you watch Tyson out there with Liam, and you go, it's a tough battle against Belfast, but this is a league that's getting better year on year.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I perhaps underestimated the level of play and type of player and the way the teams play as groups on the ice. That you have to almost see live, and the two games that I've been able to see, the pace, the intensity of the game, the skill and execution is fairly deep on every roster. It's not just, you know, the 5, 6, 8 guys from North America or wherever they might be. The homegrown talent is getting stronger and stronger here all the time, and that's why I think that if the grassroots continue, the Elite League is going to continue to remain strong. And obviously that takes a lot of people. That's not just players, that's coaches, real strong ownership. We talk about the fans and their ability to come out and support, but you need first-class people that are running organizations, doing it for the right reasons, people that really care about the community first and what it can give back. And you know, from what I understand, they have that here in Glasgow. A lot of the teams in this league have it, and that's why they continue to survive. And more than that, they thrive. They have the ability to grow the Purple Army or whatever the Belfast group is, and you know, I'd like to see that continue on for many, many years here.
Well, I think back to Prague when you led Canada gold in 2015, and I've been lucky to be a part of 15 or 16 IHF World Championships. And at that time, you're thinking, oh, it would be halcyon days to be able to call GB versus Canada. Fast forward to Kosice, and I remember that was a pinch me moment for me, sitting there with Paul Adey and about to call Great Britain versus Canada, and you look up and you see the flags on the Jumbotron, and it's just wonderful stuff. And obviously relegated last year, but trying to come back up. And you've seen some good GB players here, the Lucas Bryans and certainly the likes of Robert Lakovic. So the future is bright, and there's a nice mixture of veterans and young talent. Talking about Tyson, though, is he the type of kid, because I have a 9-year-old, and when I go watch him play soccer or Gaelic football, if I give him any advice, he's like, yeah. Does Tyson call you after games, or do you kind of look at the webcast and go, you know, this is what you did there, or is there still that sort of, I'll let your coach Corey deal with you or whatever?
We talk all the time, but we talk as a father and a son first, and then all of this business stuff with hockey comes second. And it's real important for my wife and I to find out how he's feeling and what he's thinking and his emotional level and all that type of stuff. And then he'll lead me into the hockey part of it if he wants some feedback. And he generally does. And he knows that I don't pull any punches. I'm just going to tell him what I saw. But I always tell him this, and I tell everybody that just because I've coached doesn't make me right. Hockey's a game of ideas. It's a game of thoughts. It's like playing chess. Certain moves will get you to a win or a loss no matter what they are. And I make sure that he understands that. He's a pretty bright hockey guy. He's very good at self-evaluating. I think sometimes he's hard on himself and takes himself down a little too far. There is stress put on imports, if you want to call them that, for goal and assist production. And I think a lot of the owners, the managers, the coaches, the fans, even the players themselves evaluate them that way. In my opinion, there's way more to the game than that. And I've tried to always get Tyson, Liam even when he's around, to understand that you can't just look at the score sheet at the end of the night and believe you had an impact. And that can go both ways. You can have a hat trick and still not play a good game and your team loses. That's not worth anything. So we've tried to teach him to self-evaluate properly, to look at the game as a whole, to respect the parts of the game that don't show up on the score sheet, whether that's just being a good teammate, sacrificing your body, face-offs, whatever it might be, because teammates value that. And at the end of the day, the real part of the score sheet, the standings, value it as well.
It's interesting because I spoke with Tyson a few times now, going back to, I think it was the week of his wedding.
Yeah.
We did a clan chat. So he seems like a guy that's really passionate, and it's about the jersey, the crest on the front, more so than the goals and assists. And I certainly sense that amongst him. But every time I've seen him around the building and before or after games, and like you, I kind of stand back, and unless they want to talk, but he always seems to have a smile on his face, and that's a good sign that he's enjoying his time in Glasgow after, very successful stint in Germany.
Well, he should have a smile on his face. Life is pretty good for him and his wife Sienna. They're living their dream out, living in Europe, getting paid to do it, playing the game they love, meeting tremendous people. You win some, you lose some, and you carry that around with you a little bit. But if you're not smiling when you come to work, you're probably in the wrong line of business. And it doesn't work for all of us sometimes. There's days where it's not so much fun. But as a whole, I'd expect him to have a smile on his face a lot more than a frown, and I'm glad that you recognize that.
No, absolutely. It seems like a good group, and I'm sure you know Liam and you know some of the other guys. It is a good group. It's a great coaching staff, and I know that they've all been uplifted by meeting you and spending some time with you. I know the Purple Army will love this chat. I've really enjoyed it. I remember speaking to you at a press conference, I think in 2015. You were far too busy to remember me, but it's a wonderful world, and it's great that you've been over here. Hopefully you'll be back for another visit this season. Can we pencil you in for another visit?
Unless work calls, we plan on coming back again, and we'll always schedule it around a home span, or try and get at least 3 games in, or possibly travel. But without a doubt, we've enjoyed our time here, and there's probably a lot more to do and see than we've been able to jam in on this trip.
Well, Todd McLellan, it's been an honor. Thanks for joining us in Clan Corner. I get the sense that we'll have you on the webcast, and we might see you around these parts again, but we know that Tyson has become a fan favorite, and we're glad he's enjoying his time here. So thank you for taking the time to join us.
Thank you. Anytime.